Unputdownable by Katy Haye. Nally loved to read. She was a busy woman, and nothing felt better than switching off for an hour or two and escaping into a fictional world. She shared her love of reading with many friends and swapped recommendations back and forth. That was the origin of the whole mess. Iggy recommended a thriller she'd read recently, telling her, "I truly could not put it down." The statement was clearly hyperbole, but Nally trusted Iggy's tastes, and when she found a copy on the library shelves, it seemed that fate itself was agreeing that Nally simply must read it. She took the book home, and it waited for a few days until Nally carved out the time to devote to reading. Finally, she brewed a cup of tea, sat down, and cracked the novel open. Iggy was right, it was gripping. Nally drank half of her tea, and then it was forgotten, while she turned the pages faster and faster, as her heart rate built with every twist and turn of the plot. Time flew past unnoticed. A couple of hours later, it was the tea that dragged her out of the book's world. Nally had to stop reading because she needed the bathroom. That's when she discovered that Iggy hadn't been exaggerating, nor speaking metaphorically. She couldn't put the book down. Nally folded it closed, then tried to set it down on the arm of the chair. When she lifted her hand, the book came with it. The cover stuck to her hand as though the two were magnetic. She took it in her other hand, pinching the volume between thumb and fingers. It changed hands peaceably enough, but when she tried to put it down, she found the same problem. The book simply would not allow itself to be put down. Nally stood up, heart pounding for an entirely different reason now. Iggy was a witch, but Nally didn't know any magic. What was she supposed to do? She tried to drop it, carefully, onto the chair cushions. It still deserved respect, after all. No chance. With her hands spread wide, the spine stuck to the middle of her palm. Nally's bladder reminded her that she'd stopped reading for a very good and increasingly urgent reason. She cursed what was clearly the latest magical marketing fad and realised she was going to have to find a way to manage a toilet break with only one hand. She ended up using the book as a clumsy extension of her left hand, using it to pin her button and zip in place, while her right hand dealt with the fastenings. Wiping her ass, used a lot of paper, but it was otherwise unproblematic. Washing her hands took twice as long, maybe 3 times, because she had to wash and dry one hand, then swap the book and clean the other. Nally felt as though she'd run a marathon by the time she was done. She wasn't a witch, so she wasn't familiar with spells, but she figured if the enchantment was a marketing gimmick, the solution must be to get the book read, after which it would release its uncanny hold on her. She was glad the story was gripping. A poorly written, tedious book with cardboard characters and a wafer-thin plot that she had to plough through would have been too much to ask. This one she was happy to read, even though she would have preferred it to be on her own timescale, rather than the immediate schedule demanded by some mage in a lab. Skipping the tea this time, Nally put all her other chores aside and curled up with the book once more, sinking back into the twists and turns of the plot, and forgetting everything else in her life, including the spell. When she finally slammed the pages shut with a gasp of admiration at the audacity and perfection of the final twist, darkness had gathered. Her neck was stiff. Her legs, curled up underneath her, had gone numb. Nally stood, stretched, and set the book down, and picked it straight back up. All the satisfaction of completing the book whooshed out of her when it stuck to her palm the way it had done for the past 6 hours. Nally flicked it back open in case the final few pages were the problem. She leafed through a list of the author's other books. Yeah, that wasn't going to be read now. It didn't matter how good this one had been, Nally was never going to risk opening another one by this guy. She turned the final page and held her breath as she set the book down on the table, and picked it back up again. She could have wept, but that wouldn't help matters. A crappy spell to make you read the book, with some stupid, crappy error in it that meant it kept you holding the book even once you'd finished. "That was a great read," Nally declared out loud, just in case there was an auditory element to the enchantment. "I'm so pleased I read all the way to the end. I can't wait to move on to my next book." She paused a moment, as though the still air she'd spoken into might reply. Then she set the book carefully down with both hands, and picked it right back up. First things first, Nally called to order takeout because she was starving, and she didn't plan to try and cook with only one usable hand. She didn't know enough magic to deal with this. Was she going to have to call the publisher? Their name was listed prominently in the book, as though they were proud of what they'd done, but there was no number given. She'd have to find one for herself. The doorbell rang, and Nally's stomach rumbled at the portent of dinner arriving. The dine dasher handed over the food, then asked for a signature. Nally had to juggle, dodging back inside to put the bag on the table so she could sign. The dine dasher raised a brow at her attachment to the book. "Good book, huh?" "You have no idea," Nally muttered. She shut the door, then leaned back against it. Then she fetched a fork and took her dinner, and the book, of course, into the lounge. The hand holding the book served as a tray while she ate and pondered what to try next to make the book relinquish its hold. She was finishing up when the phone rang. Iggy's avatar grinned at her as the chime sounded. "Iggy! Why hadn't Nally thought of that?" Her friend knew magic, and besides she'd read the book and wasn't walking around with the pages still clinging to her. She must know how to fix it. She stabbed the button to connect the call. "You have to help me." Iggy chuckled. "And good evening to you too. Help you with what?" "That wretched book. You didn't tell me I wouldn't be able to actually put it down." "What book? What's happened, Nally?" Nally sat back with a huff, the book slamming onto her lap. "That thriller you recommended." "Oh, did you like it?" Iggy sounded far too enthusiastic for Nally's liking. "No, I didn't like it. Did you not hear what I just said? I cannot put it down. I thought the spell would end when I finished the book, but it didn't. What am I supposed to do with it?" "Oh!" Iggy laughed, actually laughed, as though Nally hadn't been traumatised by a marketing gimmick that should be made illegal, if it wasn't already. "I forgot all about that." How could she forget? Using the toilet with only one usable hand and a book to juggle was scarred onto Nally's memory. She gritted her teeth. "The spell won't break. What am I supposed to do?" "Just put it away." Nally loved Iggy dearly, but right now it was a good job her friend wasn't standing in front of her, because she wouldn't be answerable for the violence that glib assurance provoked in her sorely tried chest. She spoke very slowly and clearly. "I can't. When I try to put it down, it just sticks to my hand. I don't know enough magic to fix it." "Oh!" Another giggle, and Nally's fingers tightened so hard she half expected the phone to crack. "Yeah, I forgot about that. You can't put the book down, you have to put it up." Nally blinked. She waited, but Iggy didn't add anything else. She ran her friend's comments back through her mind. No, still didn't make sense. "Put it up what? Put it up for sale? No one's going to buy the thing. Adoption?" No. It's part of the marketing. They want all their books to be keepers. If you put it into your bookshelf, it'll act like a normal book." "This is not a normal book," Nally muttered. But she got up and walked to the bookshelf beside the window. Her heart thumped in her ears, breath short as she clamped the phone between her shoulder and ear so her free hand could force a bit of space in the crowded shelf. She pushed the thriller into the gap she'd made, took a deep breath, and lifted her hand away. Relief made her knees wobble. Nally, are you still there?" "I'm here. It worked." Great. "You don't get it, Iggy. I was starting to envision spending the rest of my life with only one usable hand." "Why didn't you call me?" Nally didn't like to say the idea hadn't even occurred to her. "Guess I was too engrossed in the book." "Ha, see, it worked then." "No, it didn't work. The book was good. It didn't need aggressive marketing." "Ah, well, at least it worked out fine." "Except for one thing." "What's that?" Iggy prompted. "I need to take it back to the library. I don't know if I'd dare pry it out of my bookshelf now." Iggy laughed. "What's the worst that could happen?" Nally eyed the book grimly. "That's the problem when magic gets involved. The worst thing that could happen gets so much worse." That was Unputdownable by Katy Haye. Please like and subscribe and you'll be notified when the next video is up. Thanks for listening.